Hi, everybody. It's Eric Murray from the SugarHuddle.com. Well, Monday night's Raiders-Broncos game was really kind of a celebration and a little bit of a bittersweet goodbye to the Oakland Raiders because the Raiders, of course, are moving to Las Vegas in 2020, but there's a lot of uncertainty where they're going to play in 2019, and there's a lot of talks that they won't play in Oakland in 2019. So a lot of people thought that Monday night's game against the Broncos, which is their 2018 home regular season finale, could also be the final game ever played in Oakland. So, packed house at the Coliseum, Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, obviously. Great atmosphere. Everybody was in a celebratory good mood, but it kind of felt somber too because the Raiders belong in Oakland, obviously, and you think about all the great moments at the Coliseum over the years. The Heidi game, Sea of Hands. Some AFC Championship games played there. So it's a little bit bittersweet, but nonetheless, the Raiders, coming in the game, obviously 3-11. Nothing to play for. The Broncos, who just got eliminated from the playoffs the previous week, nothing to play for. But both teams played hard. They're rivals, and they still played like it. And Oakland, believe it or not, we've seen them get off to a lot of fast starts, and then they're not able to sustain it. And for a little while, it looked like maybe this would be another one like this because they got off to, I believe it was a 17-0 lead, if I'm not mistaken. Then it was 24-7. Then the Broncos cut it down to 24-14, and in the fourth quarter, they get the ball back again after another Raider punt. The Raiders' offense suddenly started to, really kind of disappear, and Oakland's defense, who suddenly is now starting to get some takeaways, suddenly they're ranked 12th in the NFL in interceptions. They came up with their second interception of the night, and that pretty much sealed it. They end up winning the game 27-14 to improve to 4-11. The Broncos dropping their third straight. They're now 6-9. But, start to finish, the Raiders just played a really heck of a game. The opening drive for Denver, they end up punting it away. And, nice punt. Broncos try to down it at the 1. They try to save it from, going into the end zone. And Dwayne Harris, the Raiders return man, picks it up at the 1. Got a lot of room up the right side, ends up taking it back 99 yards the other way for the touchdown. It had to be reviewed because there was concern that the Bronco player tried to down it, that maybe his body part, his foot was actually touching the end line, which would have automatically killed the ball right there as a touchback. But the official said that his foot wasn't established in the end zone or something like that when he actually was touching the ball and pushed it back out. The fact that Dwayne Harris returned at 99 yards, though, that alone, makes it deserving of letting the play stand and be a touchdown. But, smart play on Harris's part. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the rules, casual fans, diehard NFL fans. But on punts, the team that punts, if they touch the ball first before the receiving team has a chance, the receiving team can then pick it up without consequence. So if they fumble it away, the receiving team gets it back at the spot they fumbled it. So, return men, if the other team touches it first, that's why you'll see return men now pick it up. It's a rule they've had in place for the last several years now. And so Harris, one of the best return men in football, even still now at 31, 8th year in the league, very smart on his part, picking up, knowing that there's no consequence of him picking it up. The ball's going to be down at the 1 anyway, so why not try to pick it up and at least get a few yards out of it? And he ends up taking it back 99 yards to the house. And that was a big play. And Raiders late in the half, after both teams combined for like 5 punts, I think 22 combined plays for like 64 combined yards. Finally, late in the half, the Raiders put together a real nice drive, double the lead to 14-zip. Then they're able to kick a field goal before half. Denver misses a real long field goal right before half. And, from there, the Raiders were kind of able to kind of go in cruise control mode, which something with the season they're having, something you really shouldn't be doing, but nonetheless, they did enough in the second half to be able to hang on for the win. The big interception late in the fourth quarter sealed it. Marcus Gilchrist, what happened on the play was Case Keenum airmailed the throw, bad throw. Gilchrist went right into his hands, and it actually ended up setting up a field goal for the Raiders. But yeah, the Raiders, they've had a tendency to really get off to really good first quarter starts, and then they just completely fall apart from second quarter on. They've had a number of halftime leads, and they've blown it in the second half. But, being what could quite possibly be the final game in Oakland in the Coliseum, kind of felt like it because of the way Raider fans were reacting to it, and then the fact that John Gruden, Derek Carr, and some other Raider players were going around the entire stadium and high-fiving fans and everything, and taking it in. Kind of felt like this is going to be for sure the last game in the Coliseum. But anyways, real nice for the Raiders to be able to get this win in, again, what's probably the final game of the Coliseum. Denver, they still played hard despite getting eliminated last week by the Browns, but you could tell that they were feeling kind of deflated, that they played hard, but maybe they didn't have that mental raw energy and emotion like they clearly played with the week before when they hosted the Browns, and what was a real energetic game on both sides of the football, and definitely an intense game for anybody who ended up watching that game, that Saturday night game at Mile High. So, for Denver going forward, you look at it, and Case Keenum, like he did the previous week against the Browns, he threw 2 interceptions in this game, 2 costly interceptions in this one, just like the 2 costly ones against the Browns. He's a smaller quarterback that doesn't have a real great arm, so sometimes when he tries to drive the ball downfield, he tries to really put a little bit of extra power into it, try to sling it a little bit more, and unfortunately that makes some of his throws sail, or in some cases when he throws it deep downfield, tries to arc it too much and the ball hangs up in the air because, again, not enough velocity consistently. So, again, Denver knew they were getting pretty much a game manager quarterback that was coming off of a hot season in Minnesota because of the personnel. Denver doesn't have the same personnel, so obviously they need to draft a quarterback. But yeah, he had 2 picks in this game, barely threw for 200 yards. I think it was 202 on like 23 completions. 15 of those completions went to those 3 young receivers who really have a promising future in Denver: Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton. Who's the other one that I'm thinking of? I'm drawing a blank right now on his. I can't even think of his name right now. But anyways, I've got 3 really good young Deshaun Hamilton. So anyways, I got 3 really good young receivers, but again, until they get a legit quarterback, and they also still need to fix their line a little bit because their line's still too inconsistent. Till they get that going, and then they just need to make a couple of changes on defense. And obviously the most important thing, they need to get a new head coach. And Vance Joseph is most likely going to get fired after the year. Another game that he just didn't coach very well. But once they do that, they can be a Super Bowl contender again. But until they get that quarterback, until they get a new coach, those receivers are going to kind of go to waste, and they're going to continue to be a 5, 6, 7, 8 win team. This was their first back-to-back losing season since 1971-72, so it's gotten real bad in Denver. It's going to be a big off season for the Denver Broncos, and certainly for John Elway, who a lot of people are losing faith in. And for the Raiders, 4-11, but the thing about them is they've won two out of 3 now. Of course, they beat the Steelers recently, big win. They've won 2 out of 3, and they're 3-3 in their last 6 games. This is a team that started 1-8, and now 4-11 doesn't sound much better, but when you start 1-8 and now you're 3-3 in the last 6, Derek Carr hasn't thrown an interception since week 5. He's now gone 325 straight passes without an interception, which is now the 3rd longest streak in NFL history. Aaron Rodgers, who just recently set the record, of course, threw an interception a couple weeks back against the Bears to end that streak. That streak ended at 402. So Carr, obviously, with only 1 game left, wouldn't be able to break the record in the same season. But, if he throws like 30 or 40 passes this Sunday, that puts him at, 355, 360. And, actually, it would put him at 360, 365. So if he throws 35, 40 passes, 365, 360, 365 if he doesn't throw a pick. And then possibly, week 1 of next year, he could end up breaking the record. But he had a nice game. He didn't do a whole lot in this game, but he didn't turn it over. It was a big thing. Special teams did a nice job. Daniel Carlson did a nice job kicking, made all 5 of his kicks, including a tough 45-yarder on that crappy field. Doug Martin, though, had 107 rushing yards, formerly known as the Muscle Hamster. Really nice game for him. Jordy Nelson, who has like 29 catches and over 300 yards over the last 4 games. He had 7 catches for 75 in this game, had a couple of real nice catches to move the chains. So overall, the Raiders, it seems like John Gruden's team, it's going to be a rebuild. It's going to take a while, but it seems like it's slowly coming together. They have a chance to really spoil it for the Chiefs, who are trying to win the AFC West and clinch home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. So we'll see if they can maybe pull off a crazy upset this Sunday. But anyways, please go to sugarhuddle.com. Please like my Facebook page, which is the Sugar Huddle, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.